Okay, I'm seeing socks and like like pair of socks, underwear, and lip gloss, like men's like boxers. I don't want to film like every pair of soiled socks I see. I don't know what the deal is with the socks. I mean, I definitely don't know what's going on with the shoes, but I mean, shoot, I don't know. But I just recorded that turtle statue because I'm like, that's so cute. Yeah, so if somebody's ordering a turtle from their spirit team, there it is. So I tried recording some of my thoughts there, and it didn't go very well. I had a soccer ball kicked at me. I think I was focused on, and not an unworthy thing to talk about, but not apparently what I was being nudged to talk about. Okay, yeah, here it is. I find puzzle pieces. Oh, this one looks like, does that look like Bluey, or is it just me? God leaves me clues. God was wanting me, I think, to talk about how we've marginalized certain groups of people, and we've used religion to justify this division. And there's, in God's eyes, there, oh man, whether somebody is gay or straight, man or woman, trans or cisgender or whatever, God does not care about that. God doesn't care about that. And unfortunately, for a very long time, we've been fooled into believing the lies that, you know, God is only accepting and loving of some groups of people. And we've caused a lot of pain and suffering for our peers, for our friends, for our family members, for our loved ones, for people all over the world who don't fit, you know, certain people's mold of, you know, like what it means to be a child of God. But we're all of us are God's children. And my sexuality was something that was hard for me to accept. And yeah, it's documented. I documented, you know, some of that. But when I first started freaking out because God revealed itself to me, and I thought that I was talking to the Christian God that I believed, that I was taught about as a child. And before I realized that I was talking to the God of all, not Christian God, not this God, not that God, but God, which is the energy of love. I freaked out, and God sent me to a relative of mine who had to go through this journey bravely by herself, and figuring out you know, what it meant to her to be a Christian. And she was the one who first really opened my eyes to the fact that God is love. God is first love. And kind of getting lost a little bit here. At one point I had this dream. I was dreaming that I had started, like I met this woman, and I started dating her. I was like going to date her, and then all of a sudden, like something, like I don't know, I don't remember seeing God or whatever, but like all of a sudden the woman was taken away from me, and there was like a man standing there, and I was supposed to be like grateful to have this man in my life, and I was supposed to be with this person. And I was like I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I guess I'm gonna try. I guess I have to try. I don't have a choice. Like I started panicking. And one of the things that I read about in one of Don Miguel Ruiz's books that God pointed me toward was, like, when we start having these irrational fears, you just remind ourselves, like, you know, you're dreaming, like you're in the dream. Just because you're thinking something doesn't mean that it's real. And at that point, God spoke to me in my dream, and he said, Jen, you're dreaming. And I woke up and I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God. Thank you, God, for telling me that, you know, like that dream that I had, it wasn't God telling me that I had to be a certain way, I had to live my life a certain way. It was God telling me that my fears were the problem. At one point, in the very beginning, I was like, I'm not, like, I don't like this idea of a Christian God because it's always been labeled as he, and I won't follow man. And like I've had to work really hard on trying to process a lot of the trauma that I lived with growing up, because it really colored my view of men, and it did a lot of damage. Like, I have mistrusted men my whole life because of that, and that's not fair to all of the good men out there, and it's not fair to me either, because it isolates me from a huge community of loving people who have a lot to contribute to this world. But when I told God, I was like, are you a man or a woman? God, well, first and foremost, God basically told me, you're shallow. God called me shallow because I was focused on, what was it? Surface. Like, it was like you're focused on something superficial, and and I was really annoyed by it, because it's like, I get that might be superficial to you, but it matters to me. But God ultimately ended up telling me that it was balanced energy, and it wasn't like, God isn't human, so us trying to define God as a man or a woman or a father or a mother is really us just trying to shove God in a box to make God small enough so that we can try to understand it better. But all these lies that we've believed and we've carried around through our societies, that, you know, that there's like, men are in certain ways superior to women, and that straight people are superior to gay people, and that white people are superior to black people. That was all lies. It was all lies intended to divide us. And unfortunately, we took those lies in as our truths, and so it worked. But I mean, those lies are coming unraveled more and more every day. People are waking up to the fact that we're all the same. Like, when we leave here, we return to being just a soul that doesn't have a male-female form. We're eternal souls. And when two of us here, we decide we want to make a family, you know, we get to the other side, and it's not male-female. It's two of us, just like two of us having had that experience on this planet together. So it really makes no sense on the other side how much we have been hating each other for nothing. It's like some people like cake and some people like ice cream. Like, that might as well be the divide that we have. Like, what do we do? And okay, we're not talking. Just got hit in the head with flies. No more of that. I gotta go. Look how strange that is. Somebody just like put bowls, like giant bowls, on that tree so that it looks like mushrooms. I think that means a couple of people have found my notes in the Arrowhead Mall. Either that or Walmart. I did put quite a lot of them at Walmart. Alright, so I got a soccer ball kit. And see this, I think I'm going to cut out what they didn't want me to talk about, but I don't think it's that they didn't want me to talk about it, it's that they're trying to guide me toward talking about specific things, probably for, you know, whatever is in the highest good of all, things that are going to be most beneficial for me to talk about up front. But I'm probably going to keep it in there that I had a soccer ball kicked at me and that I got attacked by flies, because I started going in a direction that God was trying to redirect me to you know, to talking about social justice and inequality, and probably I feel in some ways trying to refocus away from the negative and towards positive change, and encouraging anybody struggling with their sexuality or their gender identity or anything like that, to be gentle with yourself and to be kind to yourself, and to know, from somebody who's having all of these otherworldly experiences, that you can rest assured that those things do not make you unlovable to God, and those things are part of, you know, who you are, and they are completely accepted on the other side. And we're unfortunately having to work through some trouble right now in our world, getting everybody on board with that. But we have every reason to believe that the future is going to be easier and easier, and that the next generations to come are not going to be having the same struggle that we have. I know, like, I grew up, like, I was born in 1985, and so the 90s were really difficult for the gay community, and AIDS was devastating, and there were, like, it furthered stereotypes, and it really devastated the community. And like, I worked with a lot of younger people, you know, as I've gotten older, and their experience of coming out is nothing at all like it used to be. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm so thankful for the, you know, like, the social advancement of our society to being more accepting, so that those young people don't have to have the same experiences that us in my generation and older generations have had to live through. And, you know, if you're somebody who's just questioning and you can't figure it out, that is okay too. You don't have to have answers. I mean, I'm 40 years old, and I'm just now figuring out who I am, and it's a kind of a different journey when you're, like, trying to figure out, like, who your soul is, who your spirit is, who you were before you came to this planet. But at the same time, that journey of self-discovery is the same. There is parallel there. And, you know, once we completely fully figured out who we are, we're probably made it to the other side. So that process of figuring out who we are is part of what makes this journey so special. Like, this life here on earth is, you know, being disconnected from all that there is on the other side. It gives us the chance to get to know ourselves again, and to get to rediscover who we are. I kind of feel like in some things that I talk about, I feel like I'm guided to, you know, soften my approach with things, you know, just so, like, I'm not, you know, coming across too harshly. But I don't know how else to say the thing that I'm thinking about, like, the other part of this. I tend to be a rather blunt person, so I've been having to be, like, redirected a little bit here and there by God and whatever, like, spirit guides are around. Like, God is using to guide me in making sure that I'm, you know, staying in alignment with God's will. But I don't really, maybe what I have to say is in alignment with God's will, and that's why I'm feeling like I don't have enough guidance here. But in passing that poster of Renee Good, who was shot by an ICE agent, we are all God's children, and our borders are just imaginary lines in the sandbox. Like, we're God's children playing in the sandbox, and we're attacking each other because somebody crossed over an imaginary line in the sand. Like, God doesn't care about our borders. God does not care about our borders. He cares about our lives and how we're treating each other. There's some imaginary lines in the sandbox.